Hi, and welcome to the Hack Club Asia conference. I hope you're having a great time at the conf, and the organizers have definitely done a great job in managing the entire conference for the first time throughout Asia and Africa. My name is Vishal Das, and I have been a committee manager for CodeChef for a few months now. Before that, which I used to run committees as volunteers for various organizations, and that volunteering somehow landed me into a full-time career, and I'm here to share with you that journey. And hopefully, if you're watching it with an idea that you wanna start a committee in your campus, you wanna start leading a committee in your campus, or maybe looking at committee management or roles such as developer relations as a full-time career option, this could give you some idea about what it's really like to be working in this field or career full time. So let's get into it. So most of what I'm going to share today is going to be my experience. See, I started a community in my college. There was something I really wanted to solve with a bunch of my friends, and we started this community. And since then, I have always been involved with the community somehow or the other, with some company or the other, with bunch of people, with people all around the globe, visiting various conferences, events, and everything. And all those experience together gave me enough confidence, to choose this field as a full-time career option. And it has been so far so good. So this is the table of contents, in case you're watching a recording and you want to skip ahead, you can do that. Please feel free to do so. About me, I am currently working as a community manager at CodeChef. I have previously been a GitHub Campus expert. I am currently a GitHub Campus expert. I have also been a Mozilla rep since volunteering as a Mozillian in running the regional Mozilla Punjab community in my state. And I'm also a computer science and engineering student, currently pursuing my bachelor's of technology. And when I'm not doing community management and talking all about community and going to various events and meeting various people, I take interest in doing UI UX. I talk a lot about UI UX design stuff like these slides that you see. And also, I like photography. So in case you are into that, you can follow me on Instagram. I go by the username Kinda Vishal. So my journey sort of started since late or the end of 2018, around November or December, when one day I suddenly realized that uh, the monotonous life of studying in a college and that was just not my thing, and I wanted to do something else, do something for my student community, which brought all the students who were doing amazing work. Because in my college, a lot of people used to, be involved with a various set of organizations doing amazing things, and I really wanted all of those students to be together under one community so that we are one large community helping more students be better than what we are currently. So uh, in pursuit of that, I started the Mozilla Punjab community. That is a whole another story with how that community got started. So I just gathered a bunch of my friends who had similar mindset, similar idea, and they wanted to do the same thing that I wanted to do, and they just came up with me, believed in me, and we started this community, and it has been going so far so good. Although the pandemic has definitely affected the amount of activities and events we do, but definitely we started the community in 2018, and since then a lot of changes has happened, a lot of things we have learned from starting from various campaigns run by Mozilla and open source, mainly being involved with open source running and participating in various other events and activities revolving around open source. This committee has definitely taught a lot to me in a lot, as in most of my community experience comes from this community and the Mozilla community throughout the globe. Right. So after I started the community about a year later, I applied for the GitHub Campus Experts page. I just got randomly, I was searching on the website of GitHub, and I landed on the GitHub Campus Experts page, and found that there were no experts in my campus, so I decided to apply. And the beautiful folks at GitHub decided that they could give me a chance, and I was so excited because I received a response few months late, and I almost had forgot that I had even applied for the program. And the day I got the email that I was accepted for a program and that I can start training and learning how to manage communities better in my campus, I was very excited. So 2019 was the time I started the training, and also around 3 or 4 months later, I think in February 2019, I got accepted finally as a GitHub Campus expert, and had access to all those resources that GitHub provides, and all those networking opportunities, exposure, and stuff like that, to bring all of these in my community, that is Mozilla Punjab, and to help all the students who are looking forward to get into open source. So GitHub Campus Experts program, these two are the main programs that really help me. So I am not sponsored or asked to buy either of the programs to promote them, but yeah, definitely this helped me. So if you are looking to get involved, then feel free to just do a web search and you'll be able to find details about these programs. Going ahead, I became a Mozilla rep. I got accepted as a Mozilla rep in 2020. So if you're wondering that I started working as a volunteer and then I became a Mozilla rep, so what is this really about? So basically, you start working towards the goal of Mozilla, and if you believe in it, and you want to keep the web open and free for everyone. So there are a bunch of people, a bunch of amazing people working towards this goal that Mozilla started as a volunteer. And over the time, if you feel that this is something that you really want to do dedicatedly, then you can opt to become a Mozilla rep, and which basically means that you volunteer to take on more responsibilities dedicatedly through nearby your region, is present Mozilla in the nearby events or activities happening, and just basically advocate more about the open and safe internet and the need for it. So I got accepted to the program on 2020, I think around Jan 2020, yes, and under the guidance of very amazing Mozillians who were Mozilla reps themselves, and they guided me. They taught this community, as I told you before, has taught me a lot about understanding how to run a community for real, understanding the needs, and making sure that the community is a safe and inclusive space for everyone. So after that, I finally applied for various community manager roles, but the amazing people at CodeChef decided that I would be a good fit for their team and accepted me in the team. And since November 2020, I have been working with CodeChef, running the CodeChef for Colleges program with a bunch of other community managers who are doing amazing work, and it's a lovely space to be. So, all the future slides and upcoming experiences come from this entire journey of mine. Let's move ahead. So, the question of the day or question of this talk, what does a community manager really do? Well, if you have been involved in this space, then you may know that there is a role called developer relations, where people who can create great content or represent a product's company, a company's product, my bad, they go around speaking at various events and conferences, and they travel a lot. So I had this previous notion that DevRels, developer relations, they move or travel around the road, but that is not actually always true. So there is a small note there. And there is another huge misconception that community management or developer relations is not entirely marketing. It does definitely include a lot of interaction with the organization that you're working for, with the users, with the social media, creating content. That's definitely there, but it's not entirely marketing. You don't really go and try to sell the products or try to bring more users to the company. That could be one of the byproducts, but that is definitely not the main goal of this role. The main idea of having a community manager in any organization or company is to be able to be that bridge between the users, to understand the users' needs, and also to provide feedback to the company that how they can do it better, and also at the same time educating the user base, being more connected with them uh, on their struggles and understanding how the community really is of a particular product or a particular company. So my experience mostly comes with me managing a wide variety of students throughout India. So community management could be different for uh, various companies, from company to company, from role to role. But in my case, I have been mostly involved with students, and which is amazing because in my college as well, I used to be very much involved with students, even if it's related to communities. So, what community management really looks like. So, this is not an exhaustive list, and this is something that I could just come up on top of my mind. So, this is not really a study that is proved, but a study that I did for myself. So, engaging and moderating and providing support, understanding struggles and resolving them, recognizing and appreciating efforts, and everything in between sums up to be a community manager. So engaging and moderating the community means that you engage the community of users that are using or are being affected by the product that your company is trying to provide, the product or the service. And moderating means overlooking the actions of the community, the user base, and other various activities that are happening. Providing support is also a huge part of community management, because when users are you directly interact with users, which means that users do expect you to be able to solve their queries whenever they're having any doubts, right? So providing support is definitely a part of it. Understanding struggles and resolving them is also a huge part, because whenever users are trying to use a new product or service, there will always be struggle. There will be both good and bad struggles, and there are always ways to resolve them. But understanding what the struggles are and then conveying it to the team, perhaps if for resolving that, is also a part of community management. Giving them a two-way feedback, taking answers from the team, and then conveying to the users that if they're having any struggles, how could they really solve it. That is also a part of community management. And recognizing and appreciating efforts, that is so important, because whenever you're running a community, there are a lot of people who are using your services or products, who are doing amazing work with those, maybe at their workplace, or if they're a student or a teacher, they're trying to solve various issues related to education, or trying to just simply innovate. It is important that you, as a community manager, recognize and appreciate those efforts, because then and only then do you get to understand that how the community is really using the products or the services, right? So this is very important, and it also keeps the community space very inclusive and welcoming for everyone. So everybody just feels included and appreciated while they're trying to do something. Right, and everything in between includes starting from operations of the company. Perhaps if the company has any sort of campaigns they want to run, that is something that you would have to host, or you would have to build it with the community users, right? So there are various other things. This is not really an exhaustive list, but yeah, this is mostly what community management would look like. Moving ahead, managing community as a career. So this is something you definitely want to know, or I probably have for this. So why would you really choose community management as a career option? I come from a computer science background, which means I have done a lot of coding, a lot of development, a lot of solving using the technology and innovating the technology. I have done that, but then why really community management instead of an engineering role? So this is something that is very subjective and depends on you as well. Initially, when I started getting involved with communities, I found myself to really like what I'm been doing, and this is something I really find interesting. And to put it out there, this is also a very booming and a dynamic field, which means although you may be just maybe just interacting mainly with the users and managing the community, but there are a various set of roles that you play. When it comes to making content, you have to understand that the needs of the users, which is a part of UX, I believe, understanding how the users are using it, and then if the product or the service that you're making a content on, you'll be coding as well, which means a lot of skills, a lot of dynamic sort of roles you have to play, and that is something that really excites me because I didn't really want it to just have a monotonous life or a career. So this is something which I really like, and every company, literally, if you talk about starting from open source companies to even companies like TikTok and Facebook and open source companies such as Gatsby, GitHub, everybody is now trying to understand the need of having a community manager or a developer relations who are directly involved with the users, who involve the users also in the campaigns and activities of the company that it does, and that brings a whole lot of benefits for the company itself. Because when you understand what the community really wants, then and only then you'll be able to make content that is useful for the community, and that is something that engages the community a lot. So this is an amazing field to be. Definitely, if you're giving it a thought, then feel free to check out more details on the web, maybe. Listening and understanding people, this is something I love. And since the time I started a community, there has been a lot of people who would come up to me and talk to me about their issues, about the struggles that they're facing that they think me or my community can help solve. And that is amazing to do, right? So if you're somebody who loves listening to people and understanding them, then this is definitely for you. Speaking and creating content. If you love talking to people, if you love going at events and understanding how people are using various stuff, you like to have a conversation and you love creating content as well. This is definitely the field for you. You would love because there are a lot of speaking opportunities. They would get a lot of opportunities where you go around various events and conferences and get to talk to people, right? And listen to their stories of how they're using the product, or may not be really about product but a lot of other things, but there is a lot of involvement of interaction with people. So if you love doing that, then this is definitely for you. And also strategizing and measuring, if you're good at this, because when it comes to running a community, it is very important that you know how to measure your success, you measure your goals, and how to strategically make the growth or the path to growth better for the community, right? So if these are the things that you love to do, then this is definitely for you. I have seen, although a lot of people tell that, community management or developer relations is not really for introverts and people who don't really like to talk. Honestly, I have been an introvert myself in the beginning, but gradually when I started to listen to people and found that when you give time to them, when you listen to people and their struggles, they really tend to open up, and that is when you understand how to drive a community-driven effort to help solve those things, right? Their issues, and that is something that really made me go that extra mile and come out of my comfort zone of not really talking to people, and then being here when I just want to go and talk to people about understand about their use cases and listen to their stories. So don't listen to, I would say, don't listen to people saying that this is not a career for you, but take the decision for yourself. If this is something that you like, then definitely this is for you. Great. So now that's out of the way. Let's move on to see how to be a better community manager. So, yes, a disclaimer here. better here is very subjective, and it really depends on how your committee needs it, right? So if the strategy that you as a community manager or somebody who's looking to do is working for your community, then that is perfect. But if it's not, then these points might really help you, because these are some things that I have tried myself and I have seen a lot of growth in my community. So if there is something, definitely. One, community strategy. It is really crucial. Uh, I would say that whenever students, especially when they're trying to start a community or a club or anything really which involves a bunch of people coming together and trying to solve an issue, they miss out on writing down or documenting a community strategy. Community strategy is a crucial thing to have, because when you try to define what your community is really doing, what you or the community is trying to do, it is also important that you define how you want to do it, how you want to grow the community, and how to basically keep it active. Those are the things that, strategy should ideally cover. So, community strategy is a crucial thing to have. So, if you're starting out, then these are the points that are definitely something you want to keep in mind. Next up, community goal. Sometimes what happens is when we're starting with the community, we know what we want to do, but then we don't clearly define our goals. So it is very important that you set a clear goal which you can achieve, as well as which adds to the mission of your community. All right, so if you're, let's say, creating a committee where you want to solve the members' issue that they can't speak English very well, let's say they cannot speak very good English, and you want to solve that. So your goals need to be very clearly towards that mission that your community has started with. And it also should clearly convey the message that your community is trying to achieve, so that people who are looking to join your community, maybe they are able to understand from your goals that what you're really trying to do, right? So defining a clear and achievable community goal is very important. Community objectives. So whenever you have set a goal, you need various milestones or objectives that you want to achieve while you work towards their goal, and that is how your community will really grow, right? So it is also important that you define objectives that you want to achieve while working towards the goal, be it while hosting events or maybe while just interacting with the community members. Everything should be towards the goal, towards the mission of your community. Next is measuring success. So everything, this is something also which people mostly I have seen that they miss off. But measuring success or measuring your work is very important whenever you're doing an event. Let's say you need to check how well that event added to the mission of your community, how well that could add to the goal that you're trying to achieve. This is very important to sustain and be active as well, because if your community members are not responding well to your activities, then basically you have to change that, and you would know when you start measuring it. So measuring with numbers is always good. Subjective is something, if you're trying to measure it subjectively, sorry, then that could be something that is a little tough to understand. But setting clear goals that you want to achieve, even if those goals are very short, that's fine, but it should be very achievable. Analyzing and adapting. So, what I mean by this point is whenever you are measuring your goals, measuring your work, if it's adding to the goals or not, that is the time you're analyzing your work as well, right? So, over the time, a community's goals or needs might change, and it is also important that you adapt to those changes. And the best example could be the pandemic. It really hit hard all the offline communities, especially, and moving entirely online was a bit tough for them. So it is important that you make such kind of transitions very smooth, and that your members are easily able to adapt to that change, even if that affects the growth or the goal. It is important that you analyze it and understand how uh, the committee is going to change to it. Next is empathy and guiding principles. Yes, whenever you're working now, you have set all the you have done all the steps, and you have a goal, you have you know how to achieve there and all of those things. But while doing all of those, it is important that you treat or understand the members with very much empathy, because there will always be tough times where you will have to have maybe tough conversations, or maybe you need to bring in the guidelines if there is a violence going on, violence of the community guidelines or the code of conduct. Then you need to be able to, enforce the guidelines wherever it's necessary, but at the same time, be empathetic to your community members, right? Because uh, whenever you're trying to do something that involves a lot of people together, there are going to be struggles, and that is very natural and expected. And you should be able to deal with it very empathetically, so that nobody is hurt or feels that this committee is not for them, right? So uh, those are 6 points. Again, this is not very exhaustive list, so feel free to add and modify as per the needs of your community. And with that, I would end on this note that building a community is not an event. It does not happen one time. It's an ongoing process, and you have to keep on giving it a check that if you're doing the right thing, if you're going in the right place, if you're going in the right direction. If you need to change, then the change should be smooth, and how you're going to implement that change. So it is an ongoing and ever-going process. And with that, I have come to the end of this talk, and I hope that I was able to give you certain experiences from my journey that can help you in your journey. Feel free to follow me on the social media and the web. I go by Kinda Vishal everywhere. And if you have any thoughts, if you have any comments you want to leave, then feel free to do so. Hopefully, there's a chat option on YouTube or wherever you're watching it. And thank you for watching. Bye. Take care.